So, good afternoon to all of you from Julian Campbell Foundation, from all of us at Julian Campbell Foundation. And today we are looking and sharing one of our most treasured possessions, the JCF Mood Map, just to show you how we use it with children and young people to help them better manage their emotional intelligence. So to do that, I'm going to share the mood map with you and to show you what a mood map is. So this is our JCF mood map, and mood is a mixture of two things: how much or how little energy you have and how you feeling in that moment. You feeling really, really down or rubbish, or you feeling really, really positive. And it's those two things together, your energy levels and how you're feeling, that give you your mood in this moment. And the thing is, a lot of kids that we work with, they don't realize that they can change their mood, or their mood is changeable. They think it's almost a fixed thing. And I remember I was in a drama workshop, one young person said to me, no, like, I've been diagnosed with generalized anxiety and that's it. There's nothing that can be done. And then through the afternoon, we showed her, or the whole group, how to manage and change their mood. And then afterwards, she was convinced that it is indeed possible to change the mood. But first of all, what a lot of things that we don't know, or the kids don't know, is that where they are in the first place. So we use this mood map to help them identify where they are, because once they know where they are, there's then an opportunity for them to make that decision to change their mood. So lots of our children, they come in, and our young people, and they're here where the red is. So they can be anxious, nervous, stressed, frustrated, annoyed. A lot of it at this time of year, we've got exams coming up. So our children, and young people, they're completing coursework. They're getting ready for exams at universities. It's the same story. There's dissertations going on, preparing for vivas. So a lot of young people at this moment can be in this quartile here where it's red. They can be overwhelmed. They can be anxious and nervous. And once they have identified where they are, that it's high energy and it's kind of like rather a negative mood, they can decide to do something, and they can choose what to do about it to bring them across to the yellow side or to the green side. So for the sciencey bit, we know that when you're in the red part, that it's the hormone adrenaline that's reigning. And in the blue part lower down, it's more the cortisol that's reigning. And even though adrenaline and cortisol, they're great hormones, or they're great for short-term experiences. When I say short-term experiences, maybe a few days or a few hours or something like this. But what's going on quite often in our society is it goes on for weeks, and it goes on for months, sometimes even years. And our body just isn't adapted, and especially those of our children, to long-term exposure to these kind of chemicals like adrenaline and cortisol. So it's really good for us to show our young people, while they're young, how to manage and how to change their mood. So a lot of people here are here at the moment because they're studying for exams, and they're finding it quite difficult. And then through our mood mentoring sessions, we show them how to not only identify, but to change their mood. So a lot of our young people, we want to change them from the red side to the yellow side, or even from the red side to the green side. And I don't know what you would do yourself. Like, what do you do that works for you? If you could note it down, that would be really good, because that way you're showing that emotional intelligence in yourself, the impact of your mood and yourself, and that you actually know what to do to bring down your mood. So I just want to give you an example for myself. So when I used to do speaking engagements, I used to get so nervous, and I was up here, panic, shook, scared, stressed. And knowing that I was high energy, I did a check-in with myself, knowing that I was high energy, and also like on the red side, as you can see there, I knew that I had to do something to bring down the levels of energy, and also bring it over and push it over onto the green and the yellow side. And for that reason, I went out, I did a bit of exercise. Running was my thing. I don't really like running, but I love the way that after about 20 minutes that I start feeling really good. That's because of the serotonin. And I know that when I can feel that good, and it's the serotonin, that I've moved on to the yellow side of the mood. mood map. And that means I'm feeling more positive, I'm feeling more focused. And then after the run, I start coming down to the green part. And that's when I know then that I can focus more on my speaking engagement or that activity. Because when you've got so much stress, I mean, and we've got so much adrenaline. Back in the old days, the boost of adrenaline was to encourage us to just escape from our predators. And even though these days our predators aren't those animals or beasts as they used to be, today it's more like deadline or exams or maybe a failing or difficult relationship at school or difficult relationship at work. But this still builds up the levels of anxiety and builds up the levels of adrenaline in our body. And if we don't bring it down, it builds up and builds up and builds up, because it isn't a hormone that makes us think. Because let's face it, when you need to escape from a threat, you don't need to think, you just need to get your body in action and get your body moving. So I did running, but what you might do something like walking or any kind of exercise or activity, because once you do the exercise or activity, then your body thinks that it's escaped from the threat, and then the levels of adrenaline will come down because it doesn't need you to escape anymore. And then one good thing that we can do is always finding out what is it that yourself and a young person in your life like to do. Anything that makes you smile, anything that makes you happy, speaking with friends or relatives, or doing like a hobby or a task that you really enjoy, because all of these kind of things will just push you across to the yellow side, to the green side. That's why I like talking to a good friend or doing something like this. It's just such a good thing to do, because it really does make a difference. And then each moment, it's good for us we use this mood map, because it's good not only to identify where we are in that moment so we can start making some changes, but also it gives us activities that we can start doing that will help us move our moods and move what it is that what we're experiencing. And then we could carry on doing things until we feel much better. So for young people, it's different to us adults, because us adults, we need about 40 minutes of exercise a day, like walking around or doing various things. Young people need an hour of exercise. And in this age, it's not uncommon to see our young people sitting down for days, just sitting down, not really active, doing a lot of revision and stuff like that. So it's really important that you give activities. And in next week's newsletter, we're going to be talking about activities that you can put in place that would be really great for young people, because it isn't just being in front of the computer, even though at this time of year it is important to be with your notes and to be preparing yourself, but the exercise is just as well, is just as well or even more important for our young people, to help them manage their mood and well-being. And lots of research studies show that people that have taken on mild types of activities, such as walking, for 2 weeks, you can see the difference in their mood. You can see, because there's more of the positive chemicals being released, such as the serotonins, we've got the dopamine, and and these ones will start elevating in our bodies, making us feel pleasant thoughts rather than just the cortisol and adrenaline. I'm not saying that it's negative, these hormones, because these hormones are quite good because they help us in an emergency, but over the long term, it really does affect our well-being. It impacts our physicality, and affects our physical health as well. So if you've got any questions about the mood map, please do ask. I was just speaking with our psychologist, Dr. Jessie, and we want to bring some workshops, because we quite often do drama workshops in schools. We want to do like an online challenge for young people where we can manage our mood, we can measure our moods, and also like a little challenge where we can look using the mood map, start looking at situations that, for example, if somebody is in the red part of the map there, let's get my hand there, if they're in the red part of the map, that they can start looking at situations and people that put them in the red, so we can start looking at things that we can do to manage that. So I've quite often linked this to emotional intelligence. And why have I linked it to emotional intelligence? It's because for a young person, or any person whatsoever, once they know they can identify their mood and they know how to manage and change their moods. This is emotional intelligence. And then furthermore, to know the impact of their mood and other people around them as they get to manage their environment is just so good. And in today's ever-changing society, the children and in school at this moment, I mean, when I was at school, like, you know, we did our O levels, A levels, and education was a certain way. And the education now with artificial intelligence and everything is just going to be so much different by the time, you know, we've got year 11 now, and the year 11s, or, you know, being 15 or 16 years old, these were the ones that were impacted in the pandemic. They're the ones that didn't go to school when they moved to from their junior school to their secondary school. These are the ones being impacted. And here we have artificial intelligence that is changing everything. So we don't even have to know the same things that we did 10 years ago or 20 years ago. And in a world of ever-changing, that's ever-changing, it's more important than ever that we show our young people how to manage their emotional intelligence, how to raise their levels of emotional intelligence, because a lot of research shows there's so many benefits of an improved emotional intelligence, that, you know, that they have better interfamilial relationships, that they get on better with people around them. They're the ones that do better in their work. They're the ones that get promoted to managerial posts quicker, because they know how to manage themselves and the people around them. These are the ones that are happier. These are the ones that are living longer. So I would assert that qualifications and education are amazing, and I'm not saying it's not, because I was a teacher for 20 years, and what I loved doing as a consultant, I loved going to difficult schools and turning around the results. I love teaching science. For me, it's the best subject in the world. However, having education is great, and if you don't have elevated levels of emotional intelligence, and you're unable to manage your mental health, is not really a help. And the great thing is, it can be transferred, it can be learned, and children and young people are learning from us all of the time by looking at our behavior, how we manage ourselves in situations, positive situations and negative situations. And the thing is, we all experience negative situations, and I think it's really good for us, for example, to be able to say to a young person, oh, yeah, I had an argument with your dad this morning, and it's leaving me a little bit stressed, and this is what I'm going to do. You know, I'm spoken with him about it, and I've apologized because I was a bit nervous, because I was waiting some test results. I think it's really good for us to illustrate how we deal with negative situations and not hide it from our children, because quite often we deal with families and the parents have gone through a mishap, they've gone through something that's really been difficult, and they've hidden it from their children. And I think the gift is to show children and young people how we manage our mental health and well-being in strenuous and challenging situations, because this is a gift that we give them, because inadvertently or sooner or later, all of us reach hard times, and for us to be with it and manage it with power is the most important thing. So thank you for watching our video. Thank you from all of us here at Julian Campbell Foundation. Please do feel free to ask questions about the mood map, and then in the next few weeks we are going to be going through this mood map with young people, doing a little challenge. And before then, we will be conducting some webinars for parents, because we are releasing our book Runs in the Family in Spanish. So it's called Es de Familia. And so please watch out for it. Please ask us questions. And the book, by the way, is for a young parent with a young child, and helping them manage their well-being in a powerful way, and that of their child. And it's something that I saw when we started mentoring as an organization. We were mentoring young people and teenagers, that this could have all been avoided, whatever we were dealing with in that moment, if 10 years before we'd started putting some practices in place. So thank you for watching this video. Wishing you a wonderful weekend for all of us here at the foundation, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.